In this video, I'm going to talk about point slope form. Sure. Okay. I'm going to start by telling you where point slope form comes from. In math, we call that deriving the formula. Okay. And then after that, I'll show you a few examples and we'll be done. Okay, point slope form. Now, I want you to think back to what you know about slope. So over here, I'm just going to write some things about slope. Slope, some of you say slope is the rate of change, right? How much the line is changing as we increase or decrease in x. A lot of times students will say it's rise over run, which is a great way to think about it, right? How much we change vertically divided by how much we change horizontally over a given interval. I like to think about it as change in y divided by change in x, right? Change in y over change in x, right? Y is just what we call that vertical axis, and x is what we call the horizontal axis. Okay, now, some of you might think of something a little different when you think about slope, right? The letter M is usually what we use to talk about slope, to stand for slope. Maybe I'll do green over here. And remember, we actually have a formula that can give you the slope. If I give you 2 points, x1, y1, right? Any x value, any y value, and then any other x value, it could even be the same, right? So a point and a point, if I give you 2 points, you can find the slope between those 2 points by finding the difference between the y's and the difference between the x's, right? And that, my friends, is the slope of a line. Now, point slope form takes this one step further and actually gives us the equation of a line through, well, it comes from this equation. So I don't know how many of you know this, but if you have a fraction like 3/2 and you multiply it by its denominator, 2, then what happens is I get 3 times 2 divided by 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1, so 3 times 1 is 3. A lot of people would say the 2's cancel out. Okay, well, that's not that important, really. But I just wanted to kind of lay that groundwork as a way for you to start thinking about, well, there is a way for me to kind of turn this into a different form. What if I were to multiply? Whoa, I'm not trying to shake the earth here. What if I were to multiply both sides of this equation by x2 minus x1? Okay, well, just like in the last example, right? My denominator and this that I'm multiplying by, those would end up canceling out. Which cancel out is not a great phrase, I don't think. I mean, it kind of is what's happening, but really what's happening is this divided by this is 1, and anything multiplied by 1 doesn't change. So I'm left with this kind of interesting equation. M times x2 minus x1 equals y2 minus y1. And I want this to work I want this to be an equation. So I want this to be I want this to work for any x and any y. And what we do in point slope form is we just say, well, instead of having a second point, we just want 1 point and a slope. So I'm going to take out the second point, and I'm just going to call it generally x. And, well, yeah, okay, equals y minus y1. And, oh, try to be a little consistent. I'm just showing you that I'm replacing x2 and y2 with x and y. Not a big deal. So then this right here is point slope form. And a lot of times you'll see it written like this. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That's what it looks like on all the formula charts. So instead of having a y-intercept and a slope, or random numbers a, b, and c, here we have a point, any point on the graph, and a slope. And that's pretty powerful. So let's look at a few examples, maybe, of how I could write an equation in point slope form. I'm going to leave that on the screen. Well, maybe we'll rewrite it. So, like I said, point slope form, y minus y1 equals m, the slope, times x minus x1. So let's say you're given a point and a slope. Your question might look something like this. Write the equation of a line with slope, I don't know, 5, and that passes through the point 1, 2. And probably in the problem it would say, write the equation of a line with a slope 5 that passes through the point 1, 2 in point slope form, okay? Here, since this video is about point slope form, we're just assuming that that's what we're talking about. So what would this look like? Well, what is m? What is m for my problem? If you said 5, you would be correct. Okay, and what is this point? Well, maybe we'll just say 2. What is x1? If you said 1, you would be correct. And what is y1? Rather, if you said 2, you would be correct. Okay, now I can just substitute these values into my equation and create the line. Y minus y1, which is 2, equals m, which is 5, times x minus x1, which is 1. And I don't even have to do anything else. That's it. That's the answer. Can you believe it? Kind of shocking, eh? So, that's point slope form. Now let's take a little bit more of a tricky problem, maybe. Do I have room somewhere? Whoa, I zoomed in. See if I can find some room. Oh yeah, we've got some room down here. Maybe? Okay, good enough. We got some room. Okay, so let's look at this. Again, just for your sake, y minus, or really all of our sakes, so that we can just remember what the formula is. You might have a question that says, write the equation of a line that passes through let's see, the points. So I'm giving you 2 points. The points -4, -9, and -2, -7. Nope, -2, -5. Okay, we're gonna try this out. Think this will work out. So Write the equation of a line that passes of the line. There's only one line that passes through those 2 points. Isn't that kind of crazy? That passes through these points. Okay, so first I need to find, I have a point, right? If we were to do what we did last time, m equals x1 equals x2, y1 equals. I could pick either of these points for x1 and y1, but I don't know what m is. So maybe we say we pick -4, -9, because that's my first point. But you could pick either of them. We need to find the slope. Now remember, the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we can actually find the slope from these points. So y2, -5, minus y1, which is -9, over x2, -2, minus x1, which is -4. So we have -5 minus -9. So remember, when you subtract a negative, that's like adding a positive. -5 plus 9 is 4. -2 plus 4 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So my slope then is 2. That's why it's nice and helpful for us to know slope form. And in the past, if you had slope-intercept form, you'd have to find the y-intercept as well. But because this is point-slope form, I can just use this. Y minus y1 is -9. Okay, let's just write it like that. Equals m2 x minus x1 is -4. And then that's okay, but I really think we can make it one step easier to read. Minus -9 is +9, and minus -4 is +4. So this is what your final answer should look like, where you have y plus 9, not minus -9, because a negative, when you subtract a negative, it's adding the opposite, so adding a positive. Y plus 9 equals 2 times x plus 4. Okay, so point-slope form, just like the name suggests, you have a point and a slope. You can create an equation of a line. And that's all you need to know. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you next time.